What's going on, YouTube? I'm Tony, and this is Executive Edge. Mistakes in business are something that should not be tolerated. You can't afford to have any mistakes. When people make mistakes in business, people die. So therefore, when one of your employees does something that they're not supposed to do, you need to take charge and immediately get rid of that employee before they make any more mistakes. There's no room for errors in business. Let's be realistic for a change. One thing you should know by now is that's not the way to go. Nobody is perfect. Anybody that says that they're perfect, that's the person that I would watch out for. Each week, we talk about ways to become a better supervisor, to be a better manager, to be a better leader. Last week, we talked about reinforcement training, refresher training, and application of training as 3 ways that can be implemented to ensure that your employees are properly trained to do the job. This week, we're going to talk about remediation training. What is remediation? Remediation is the action of remedying something in particular or reversing or stopping something that may have caused damage. Giving remedial training or therapy means, in short, to retrain or correct something that you found has gone wrong. So how do we put this into business? At the beginning of this video, I said, people are not perfect, they make mistakes. And that is very true. Unfortunately, sometimes mistakes happen. Business is no different. So when you find out that a mistake has happened in your organization, it is your job as a supervisor, manager, or team leader to find out where the mistake happened and try to correct the mistake from happening again. When you do this, one way that you can retain good employees is to give them remediation training. In remediation training, we found out that a mistake has happened. So that's the first step. You have identified that something has happened that should not have happened. It could be something as simple as, let's take fast food for instance. It could be something as simple as an employee has failed to leave the fries down long enough. So now the fries are no longer being cooked the way that they're supposed to be cooked. Maybe this employee did not know the importance of why this step is important. So when you give this employee remediation training, one major step that you have to take is explain to the employee why each step in this process is important. It's not enough to just tell them, okay, you did this wrong, it's supposed to be done like this. You need to tell them what they did wrong, where they fell short, and then on top of it, you need to explain to them why the procedure needs to be done the way that it needs to be done. For example, we leave the fries down for 2 minutes. If we leave the fries down for 1.5 minutes, then that doesn't allow for the fries to be properly cooked. When the fries are not properly cooked, then our customers can get sick. Rather than just the policy is to leave the fries down for 2 minutes. Sometimes humans need that extra explanation so that they can continue to understand why certain things are done. You have to understand that sometimes people don't always see the picture the same way the organization sees the picture. So when that happens, you need to try to make sure that they understand it at least as much as possible from the organizational point of view. So moving forward, you found out that there's a deficiency. You found out that employee X has not been leaving the fries down for the full 2 minutes. You've identified this problem because multiple customers have brought back the fries and said, they're not done. We don't like these fries, they don't taste right. So now that you've identified the problem, you've identified where the problem is, you've sat down with the employee and you've explained to them, look, you haven't been leaving the fries down long enough. You need to leave them down for this amount of time because of this reason. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have the employee perform the task again to the standard, and you're going to watch the employee perform the task to ensure that they know how to properly perform the task. After they perform the task, you're going to ask the employee, do they have any questions about what they've just done? Maybe they don't fully understand it. Make sure that they're not just telling you that they understand it just so that they can move on. Have the employee explain the process to you and why the process is important. After you have properly retrained this employee, you've shown this employee the proper way to do things, at this point, you can set the employee off let them perform the task, have someone else oversee them performing the task for a period of time just to make sure that they have it down the way that they're supposed to. Make sure that you explain to the employee for a period of time, 2 weeks, 2 months, however long you feel as though and your organization feels as though is an adequate amount of time to show competence in this skill. We're going to have employee Y shadow you to make sure that you're performing the task the way that you're supposed to. Now, when the employee is shadowed, the employee should be the one performing the task. The employee that is shadowing the employee, they're merely just making sure that they are continuing to do things to the standard of the organization. They should be watching this employee, but not being a micromanager per se. They should allow this employee to do the job and only step in if there seems to be something that's not going the way that it should. So this means you need to find somebody that is trustworthy enough that you know that they're going to perform the task themselves and oversee the employee X performing the task to the capabilities of the job. After this employee has successfully shown that they do possess the skill to be able to handle whatever task it is that they fell short on, when they've successfully completed this task, they've shown that they know what they're doing. At this point, the employee can go back to their normal duties that they were doing before, and you also are going to keep a record that this happened. Because in theory, once an employee gets remediated, they should not have to be remediated again for the same task that they were remediated on once. In a perfect world, what you want with remediation training is for this employee to show clear improvement on skill and clear knowledge of the job that they are to perform. So there you have it, YouTube. That is remediation training. Remediation training is good to make sure that you retain quality employees and that you catch deficiencies in a timely manner and correct these deficiencies. I hope this video was insightful for you. If you felt this video knowledgeable, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, hit the like button, and ring the bell so that you can get notified each time a video comes out. Until next week, I'm Tony. This is Executive Edge. Keep being a great supervisor, and I'll see you next week.